It's the 40th anniversary Walmart exclusive reissue of Soundwave. But I also have the 40th anniversary reissue of Blaster. And I'm going to go through these guys. Soundwave comes not with Buzzsaw, but with Laserbeak and Ravage. And unlike the original, our dear friend Blaster comes with Steeljaw, which is kind of cool. I'm going to go through these guys. I might actually get some help from some original versions and see if they're worth getting for your collection. Be right back. Alright, so let's first take a look at Soundwave, and yeah, I misplaced my smaller knife, so I'm going to slice them open, and both of them open, with this rather large one. And let's take a look at this one here. So, the packaging is very retro. It says 40th anniversary. It's got tech specs on the back, which you can kind of read, but a decoder might be helpful. Got plenty of these. And one thing that comes with these new versions is a shitty piece of paper, which I'm getting rid of. It has instructions. I don't need those. But I'm going to put this box aside a little more nicely than I usually take care of boxes, because it's a nice box. But looking at them already, I can tell there is no chrome on any of the weapons, which is very interesting. Plus, Laserbeak's weapons don't have the extended point. They have the less extended point, the little nub. But let's get these guys out of here and take a look at them a little more closely. Oh, I do want to note the box actually has plastic covering, so you can't reach in and touch things, which is nice. So I guess we're kind of going back to that, or at least with some. We'll see. But this is what you get inside. You have the tape layer of Soundwave, the two cassettes and their weapons, the weapons of Soundwave, and then his 3 missiles on his sprue. So it's a nice set. We do get instructions, but we do not get a sticker sheet. So that's going to be a little bit different than the original. But let's take a look at these guys. First of all, in their alt modes, we have the cassette player. Looks a little bit different than the original. Does eject. It's not a spring in there. Oh, there is a spring in there. Okay, it was just stuck the first time. So you can put cassettes inside, I'm imagining, and close it up, and then Laserbeak eject, and then take them out very easily. He does have the switch on the side. It is not chromed. It is plastic, and the same thing with the volume control. And you do have the battery cover that opens up, and you can put the batteries / weapons right inside for storage. Though there's no place to store these. What can you do? There's our cassette. He looks a little bit different, but that is definitely Laserbeak. And we have Ravage, another cassette. Not too much you can do in this mode except put them inside, close, eject, etc. Now this is my guaranteed original G1 version of Soundwave. And you can see that the color, what you can see of it, there's a slight difference. I can kind of see it, but they're still pretty close in color. I think this one might be slightly brighter. Obviously, this one has stickers, including the Decepticon symbol, whereas the Decepticon symbol has been painted in there. Yellow has been added here, which has a gold on the original around the tape area, but here it's been painted yellow. He has the record and stop labels here. This one does not. And actually the buttons here, which are not chromed, they're just plain uncovered plastic, extrude out a little bit more. It's kind of hard to tell, but there's definitely a slight increase in the extruded area for the buttons. The back, I mean, you can see the gray is a little lighter on the new version, and he's got painted or pre-applied, it's hard to tell, stripes around his wrists as opposed to the original stickers. And of course, the volume control here is chromed, not as easy to move. And the switch as well is chromed on the original, but not on this one. Now this is actually a reissue of Laserbeak. We'll put you guys aside for the moment. And you can see there is a great deal of change in the coloration. He's actually got labels on here and a rub sign that make him look like a 60-minute cassette, whereas this is just red with Decepticon symbols, which is nice, and white, but definitely some differences. On the top, the reissue had the Decepticon sticker on the forehead, where that is not present on the reissue, but he's got Decepticon symbols on his wings instead of these kind of circuit things. And the red, I think the red diecast part, which this does feel diecast, is about the same, but definitely some changes in the deco. And I am pretty sure this is also a reissue as well, but you can see here a lot more deco on the more original, faithful reissue than this one. This one has a Decepticon symbol here and the same kind of silver-ish thing there, though this looks like it may have been more metal, whereas these are definitely plastic. Though feeling the legs, there is diecast in the new one as well. And on the other side, again, this looks like it's a 60-minute tape, and it's got the interior stuff showing. Here it just has a white field, much more unadorned. I will say this one has silver eyes, this one has red eyes, which is kind of cool. Identical molds, just very different deco. Let's pop out Blaster real quick. Also has a shitty piece of paper. Instructions, which are not needed. And again, just the box. You got your window. Looks very, very similar to the original, but smaller tech specs. So this is what comes with Blaster. You have Blaster himself, his gun, which is gray, Steeljaw in cassette mode, and Steeljaw's weapons. Now, the original Steeljaw, there were 2 releases of his weapons. Some were silver, some were gold. Both were chromed. These are gold, but they are not chromed. A little bit of shiny, but definitely not chromed. But there they are from the various angles. Let's take a closer look at Blaster in his boombox mode. You can see he's got the Autobot symbol. It actually looks like a sticker, but it feels like it's painted on there. He's got some stripes on the front here. If you press his eject button, it comes out without a problem. The original one, sometimes you'd have some problems. Looks overall pretty cool. He does not have a battery cover, but let's do a comparison to another Blaster. And by the way, there's no rub sign on here, but let's put him next to this Blaster. Now this is not a genuine G1, this is a reissue that I got quite some time back, but it is pretty faithful to the original. And I don't know if there's some stickers that were not with the reissue, but I'm pretty sure this is closer in coloration. You can see the handle here is gray, this one is black. This is more of a bluish gray as opposed to a kind of tannish gray. So there's definitely some color changes. You got your speakers here are gray instead of black. Now this has some kind of pattern here. This has stickers in a similar pattern. This has this dial here, which I'm not actually sure what it's for, in kind of painted gray, whereas this is not painted. No rub sign. This has some paint applications here as opposed to stickers. These are identical. And this is a reissue that I have no problem ejecting. But the buttons, again, just have the difference in coloration. This is more the blue gray. This is more like a tannish gray. And you can see the back here, pretty much the same type of stamps. Now this one that says on the back, copyright 1984, as does this one. So they did not change the copyright stamp. Not sure why, but this one definitely just came out. Interestingly, I just went to check Soundwave. This one says 74,83. This one actually does not have a copyright stamp, so very interesting. But there they are side by side, Blaster and Blaster. The red looks a little more orange on this one, whereas this reissue looks a little more red, very slight, very subtle. The yellows look about the same. This one might be slightly darker. And I do not have an original Steeljaw to show you, but from what I recall, this is not the deco. This is brand new deco, Autobot symbols and stripes. No, not to be confused with Stripes, who's a totally different Transformer. But yeah, definitely the original had stickers, said 60 minutes, all that wonderful stuff. All right, let's check out the robot modes. Now, transformation, of course, is the same. It is, in fact, the exact same mold for the most part. And I can't forget his weapons are still in the back there. Now, one gun goes on his shoulder and does not extend. The other one does extend. It still does have the extension. And let's get out one of these non-shiny, non-chromy plastic missiles. And put that in there, which stays. Let's see if it launches. Doesn't launch. No launch. Failure to launch. So there is the new Soundwave. Again, looks a lot like the old one. As far as his form is concerned, he's the same. Of course, you can tell it's not shiny there, not shiny on the button. It's a little bit different on the tape case itself. I'm sorry, tape compartment. And you can see the lack of chrome there. And the toes are definitely gray. I don't think the originals were that shade of gray. The face looks pretty much like his. He's got a red eye visor and kind of silver paint on his mouth cover. Putting him side by side with the original, here's where some other differences become apparent. The face is definitely painted much more differently. Silver face mask as opposed to a not as painted face mask. There's still some paint there, but there's more blue showing through. Yellow eyes on the original, so the face is definitely different. But wait, there's more. So taking a look, I didn't really notice this in the tape deck mode, but you do have silver going up to the switches, whereas it's all blue on the back of his legs here. He does have, you can see the kind of gray plastic on the side there, on the interior of the legs, but definitely a difference. And the feet are definitely darker on the original. And of course the stickers make a big difference. Again, looking at the blue, the original appears to be a darker shade of blue, but still it's a cool representation of this character, maybe a little more animated looking. That could be why the changes to the face, though the face does not quite look exactly like the one in the cartoon. It's probably a little closer. And of course, all the movement is the same. There's no bending the knee back. It's the exact same mold, so he can do this weird bend like that. He can kick forward, and the only way you can kick to the side is if you turn the leg to the side. Still a good representation of Soundwave. The lack of chrome, well, it avoids chrome wear, so that's a plus. All right, let's put you guys aside and we'll take a look at Laserbeak and Laserbeak. Now this particular reissue of Laserbeak unfortunately has the shorter weapons. I might have another one over there that has the longer ones, but I'm already shooting. We'll just stick with these snub-nosed ones. So there's a reissue more in line with the original. And what is interesting is the posts here are actually black, which is interesting. So I guess it doesn't get the same potential wear as the silver ones with the chrome. But there they are side by side. Again, molds are identical. It's just the deco and in this case the weapons. The weapons are pretty much just gray plastic, not as shiny. But still, if you don't happen to have a Soundwave and Laserbeak of the G1 style, you know, this is a good alternative. Though there's always counterfeit reissues, which we may do one of those in a future video. But there he is. Looks pretty much, again, the same. Posability is the same, which means there isn't much. But there you are with Laserbeak. Now, Ravage. This is, again, I'm pretty sure a reissue for Ravage. He's in nice shape, but this is more in line with the original. Whereas this is the new one with the red eyes, very tight joints. Not like horrendously tight, but firmly tight. And again, he's got the black posts. And I put these on upside down. Bleh. So I'm gonna have to turn this carefully because he doesn't stand normally that well. Let's see if we can actually turn the turntable. Nope, I'm not even gonna try it. So there he is, original-ish reissue, and the new one from Walmart. So he's got the nice Decepticon symbol on the front there, which is nice on the one side. Here, this reissue happens to have on the sticker an itty bitty Decepticon symbol there, so I'm not sure if that was on the original, but you can see, again, same mold, no chrome. The red eyes are nice. That's a nice touch, if you can see the red eyes in the camera. But otherwise, it's just a Ravage with no chrome and a bit more plain of deco. All right, let's break out Blaster. Now, again, this blaster did not come with any stickers, and he is quite tall. I recall thinking he's taller than Devastator, which was kind of weird for a guy who changed into a tape deck. But let's get him on the Turntable of Doom. And here's Sky. Sky has joined us. She likes music and Transformers, so, and Blaster, apparently. Please don't knock him over. So let's take a look at him from all angles. Again, pretty much the same. Not a heck of a lot more is revealed. You can see his shoulders are unadorned. Still has the nice, interesting pattern on the door of his tape mode, tape player, tape holding area, the tape deck part. And again, slight differences in color. Now let's put him next to a reissue. Now I don't think that the changing color is from the sun. Really would be disappointed if not. Where I've been storing it, it gets no sun. But I will say this gun is a little loose in his hand. But there they are side by side. Again, I can see there's a little bit more orange in this reissue. His tape is clear. It doesn't have the interesting pattern there, which is definitely a plus on the new one. Well, going around, they are pretty much identical. Obviously, the other reissue has stickers on the shoulders, which this one does not. Right, Sky? But again, very close, very cool. And what's interesting is if you knocked off his gun. Sky, that's rude. Guy needs his gun, especially if he's gonna face Soundwave. But you can see, which has always been the case, Soundwave is shorter than Blaster. That wasn't the case on the show. Soundwave was probably a little taller. But finally, let's take a look at Steeljaw. I don't think we're going to use this. What do you think, Sky? So transforms just like the original. He does. Isn't that great? And I'm going to zoom in a bit on him so you can see him a little closer. So there is Steeljaw. Now I haven't put on the weapons yet. Now the weapons are gold painted, but there is yellow where the posts go in, so they didn't put the paint apps there, probably to avoid the paint wear. But this is probably painted. But there he is, looks very similar. I'm not sure if the guns are exactly the same, but I couldn't imagine why they would change them. They look pretty much like his, just not chromed in any way. And of course, he's got the Autobot symbol here and on here, which is a little harder to see because it's a little further back. The eyes are, it looks like they're slightly painted a slightly different shade of yellow, which is kind of hard to tell. Or it could be just my mind deceiving me. But there is Steeljaw. And, yeah, I mean, he looks pretty much identical to what I recall of the original, just the weapons are very different, and obviously the deco on the sides is different. Oh, one thing, if you didn't notice these guys, is the amount of everything that was black is now gray. So his arms, black, gray. Gun, black, gray. So that is a major difference with Blaster. There he is with Steeljaw. He pops it out, Steeljaw comes out, growls at people, shoots them with his side guns, all that kind of stuff. So there you have it, the brand new Walmart 40th anniversary. It doesn't say retro on the packaging, but it's pretty much the retro version. Same thing with Blaster. Minor differences with the deco, lack of stickers, some color changes, and lack of chrome, but still, they are cool figures. If you don't have a Blaster already, or if you're a crazy completist like me and you want to have every Blaster and Soundwave out there, then definitely I would recommend getting them. If not, you know, if you already have a Soundwave that you're happy with and already have a Blaster, there's no need to get these guys. They're very faithful to the originals, but again, there's minor differences, but I don't think it's required. But that's really up to you. That's your decision. Sky is definitely a fan of Blaster. And I really hope that you're enjoying these videos as much as Sky and I enjoy making them. Though, I hope you don't enjoy knocking over Transformers as much as Sky does. But hey, to each their own. And while you're mulling over whether you want to get these guys, which I'll put links in the description, you might be able to find them online at Walmart, eBay. You could try going to your local store, which hopefully you get there before scalpers, because I have a feeling these are, at least the Soundwave is a scalp-worthy toy. But you can check out this video over here, which is actually my 5 favorite G1 Decepticons, which happen to include Soundwave. Cool video to watch, and you could also let me know what your favorites are as well. We will see you next time. As always, have fun and good hunting. Right, Sky?